Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 93 of the Seezus Show. Reporting live from Los Angeles, the city of dreams. We out here. I know I just released another episode, but it's only right to release this episode in a good style. NBA Finals start on Wednesday, which is tomorrow. I'm extremely excited about that, and I know Trey is going to have some great insight today as well too. But to rehash you guys on an episode from a few days ago, actually, from I think about 2, 3 days ago, episode 92 of the Season Show. Your boy returned since August the 28th from recording episode 91 of the Season Show. And on episode 92 from this past Saturday, Sir Seezus, myself, and Trey XXIV, my co-host, we essentially discussed Breonna Taylor's shooting, the verdict, what happened with that, Billy Donovan becoming the Chicago Bulls' new coach, reflecting on the Clippers' loss. You know I love Kawhi Leonard, so that shit hurt me so bad. How Giannis should approach free agency, and of course, the Eastern Conference and Western Conference preview. So now we have the finals that are set, and we're just going to go ahead and get straight into today's topic. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for my boy, for my co-host, for that mother right there, Trey Day XXIV. What a do, baby? We out here.
What's up, everybody? It's your co-host Trey Day all day. Welcome to another amazing episode of the Caesar Show. You already know the pre-finals edition, man. Not a lot of stuff to get into. Really quick, kind of touching a few points, but definitely get y'all ready for the finals to come. That should be very soon after y'all view this or listen to this, however you choose to consume it, man. So glad to be back with y'all. What's good, Sir Caesar? Let's get into it, man.
Yes, sir. Let's get into it for sure. So this may be the fastest turnaround that we had with like an episode to an episode. I would have to say because we recorded this Friday, released it Saturday. Now it's
Mm-hmm.
Tuesday, so I love
Yeah,
that as well too. But like I
not too
said, I
bad.
want to make this real quick. So let's go ahead and get straight into it. So the first thing I want to talk about, obviously, the main thing is the finals matchup that we've all been dreaming for, right? So I wanted to, just touch on Delonte West. So
Mm-hmm.
Delonte West, obviously, if you guys don't know, he's a former NBA player. Um, you know, and he played for a good amount of seasons, and he's most notoriously linked to the Cavs and also the Mavericks as well too. For those of you guys who don't know, he played. I want to say he played 4, 7, 8, 9 seasons in the NBA. So his first stint was with Boston. Then he went to Cleveland. Then he went to Dallas, and he had one season in Seattle. So he has a career average of 9.7 points, 3.6 assists, 2.9 rebounds, shooting over 80% from the free throw line, 37% from three, 45% from the field. Not too bad at all. So we've touched on this, I believe, before in the past, but it just seems like he's going through it. So um, apparently, Delonte West agreed to meet Mark Cuban at a Texas gas station and is now currently at a local hotel. So basically, West's family had desperately been trying to get him to go to rehab, and he's becoming open towards it. So Cuban offered him to cover all expenses as well too. So I believe right now he is in a good space. I want to say that he eventually went to a rehab facility. Let me see right here. Yeah. So the last update was a Delonte West update. As people close to the ex NBA players go through very difficult personal struggle, continue to offer help. Sources say Mavs owner Mark Cuban reunited West with his mother in Dallas on Monday, and now West has checked in a rehab facility in Florida as well too. So,
Nice.
I think this is a good thing because at the end of the day, we, as a society, as human beings in general, I think we always are quick to jump to conclusions and judge people just based off of what we hear from the outside noise as well too. And I really think mental health is a huge thing as well too. So I'm happy that the NBA seems like a pretty big family. I feel like no owner in the NBA besides Mark Cuban would go out of their way to reach out to a former player who
Fuck.
is kind of down right now. So I appreciate that as well too. And it's kind of just that epic of, you can't really judge someone until you walk in until you walk in their shoes as well too. So I think mental health is a huge thing that we're going to have to continue to attack, not only as individuals but as a society. And at the end of the day, you also have to put yourself in positions to be around, like-minded individuals. So prayers up to him. Hopefully he can recover. Hopefully he can get, the right help that he deserves. And that's pretty much about it. Do you have anything you want to add to that?
No, just that addiction in any form is a real thing. Too much of something is for anything is can be a tough battle. We live in a world where it's hyperconsumption for everything. So I mean, anybody can find themselves down a path that they didn't really understand or want to go down. So just you know, to the friends and families of people that are going through that, or may have somebody that are going through that. Just bear with people. Always be on the lookout. That's a long process. So the main thing is that we don't want to see anybody get to that process. But it's just a daily monitoring of self, of the loved ones around you. So just keep those people in your prayers, your friends, your families, and also people that are going through stuff like that. So shout out to Delonte West, shout out to Mark Cuban, all parties involved. And when you say NBA is bigger than basketball, NBA cares and stuff like that, this is kind of the stuff that we're getting at, as well as going out into communities that are underserved as it goes. So hopefully this is a success story in the making.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you as well too. So another thing I want to bring up as well too, like I said, this is a very, very quick podcast, very short podcast. It's crazy how we kind of spent some time reminiscing on what could have been with the Bucks, what could have been with the Clippers, and
Hmm.
news. I guess news just travels fast. So there were some notifications that went off yesterday, and obviously the one and only
Woj Bob.
Woj bomb dropped, and Doc Rivers, in the ownership, the Clippers ownership, Steve Ballmer, they decided to part ways.
Yep.
So for those of you guys who don't know, Doc Rivers probably isn't going to go down as one of the best coaches in the NBA. He played in the NBA first, and then he eventually became a coach in the 1999-2000 season at the
Hmm.
age of 38. So kind of like in
Sheesh.
Brad
Yeah.
Stevens' situation, very young. Now he's 58, so he's been coaching for damn near 20 years.
Wow.
So he coached in Orlando. He coached in Boston. And he coached with the Clippers as well too. He coached over, if the numbers look right, 1,624 games, and out
Sheesh.
of those games, he had a record of 943 wins and 681. I'm sorry, losses. So 943 wins, 681 losses. Had a winning record of 58% as well too. So obviously with Doc Rivers, he's notorious for coaching the big three and Kevin Garnett and Ray Allen, and also Paul Pierce. And if you want to add Rajon Rondo, you can go ahead and do it. But I'm gonna say big three. In 2002, 2007, 2008 season, this is when the Boston Celtics were first assembled, and it's very rare when you assemble talent like that and then win the very first year. So they won the 2007-8 series, and they were able to go back to the finals, I believe, in 2009 and 2010 because they were the Eastern Conference champions and lost to no other than the late man of discipline, god of discipline, Kobe Bryant. So after that, I mean, they went into a couple roadblocks. Obviously, that's when the big three are formed with the Miami Heat, and they just couldn't get over that hurdle because LeBron reached his prime, and Wade and Bosh and Eric Spoelstra and Pat Riley were just able to help him get to where he needed to be as an organization, as a winner, and all that good stuff. And then obviously, the trade of all trades happened. Chris Paul tried to get his way all the way over to the Lakers. They vetoed that
Hmm.
trade, and then he was part of the package deal with Chris Paul to get to the Clippers. And right when he got to the Clippers, his first year, Lob City was on notice. The Clippers were on notice, and
Yeah.
first year won 57 games. Relatively, I mean, each year, honestly, he
It was a
won.
successful squad.
Yeah, successful squad as well too. The Clippers always kind of seem like the what people say nowadays the stepsisters or the
Mm-hmm.
step brothers or whatever to the Lakers. Obviously, Lakers are always going to be the most popular organization, but they kind of made a name for themselves. But it was just a shame because it was a combination of a couple things. One, you can add that it was injuries. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these years that they were favorites to win it all or at least get to the conference finals, it always seemed like Chris Paul was hurt or always seemed like Blake Griffin was hurt. They couldn't really play together. And then when they did play together, things didn't really work out. So they never, as a unit, got to the conference finals.
Yeah.
And then when you fast forward into this season, when Kawhi Leonard comes off a championship run, he signs with the Clippers, and then a few moments later, we find out that Paul George gets acquired as well too. So on paper and through numerous outlets, through numerous analysts, numerous talk shows, whatever you want to call it, everyone had the Clippers as the prohibitive favorite. Obviously, the season got cut short, so they were only able to play, I think, about 72 games, and they were able to get the 2 seed and be 49-23 in the first round. Obviously, went up against the high octane offense of Luka Doncic and the
Mm-hmm.
Mavericks. Ended up winning 6 games. Second round, up 3-1 against the Nuggets, and they just found a way to not, you
Get
know,
him out of there.
not get them out of there. So,
Yeah.
um,
That's crazy.
my question to you is this shocking for you at all, or could you kind of see this coming?
I saw it coming. I thought it was gonna come a little bit quicker. But there was like rumors and rumblings that they were gonna try to keep it together, give it one more shot, which would have been like, essentially the definite nail in the coffin if it had happened again next year. But I think, just after, some unfortunate 3-1s giving up, um, and just his stint with the team being as many years as it had been. I think they just wanted to go in a new direction. They had the players, kind of the new players, just kind of the same coaching, just to kind of see what would happen. There are rumors now that Trez is going to go and different things like that because they did have some of their, bench players. I don't know, yeah, Trez is a bench player. He's 6 man a year. So they did have some of their bench players that probably we're definitely gonna maybe look for a little bit more money or look for a different home after the season. And with the rumblings that it's not the same camaraderie in the team with beef with PG, and just it wasn't meshing well. I think it was a good junction for them to go kind of see like, hey, let's find some different leadership. Let's see what happens. Let's give maybe Doc a new start somewhere if he wants to get a new start somewhere, and let's as an organization go a separate way. So I'm really just surprised it didn't come sooner.
Yeah, like you said, just to add to what you said, like you would think after all these opportunities of trying to reach that
Yeah.
mountaintop, you think you would get it done, especially this year, at least get to the conference finals and show that you can compete with the Los Angeles Lakers, and we'll never know. But you can kind of
Yes.
see the writing on the wall because, like we said, he never got past the second round. Always got in hurdles as well too. So he's a great coach. I think he's gonna find a way to stay coaching in some shape or form. Now, if he's going to coach immediately, I really don't know.
I don't
If
see
I
it
was
happening.
him, I would probably take a little hiatus. And then once I see that team that looks like they're about to take that next step, or, there's a team that has stars already intact, then I'm going to tack on it as well, too, because right now they're kind of linking him to the Philadelphia 76ers. But I wouldn't
Interesting.
necessarily take that route. Like I said, I would probably take a hiatus. I mean, would you, if you're Doc Rivers and you got offered the job as a head coach, knowing that you have Joel Embiid, knowing that you have Ben Simmons as your pieces to move forward with, and they're young relatively, are you taking that leap of faith?
Man, that's a tough one to ask me because I've never been in the emotional roller coaster that is coaching and being at that level of coaching where year after year after year, which he has his titles too, but you come off a year like this where not saying you were almost guaranteed a title, but you were definitely almost seemed like you were promised more than actually happened. And that has to be draining in a lot of ways. And I know coaches go through a whole lot, and coaches know this is part of their job, but I don't know, it must be tough. And maybe as a coach, you just say, hey, all I'm looking for is the next opportunity. So whether it be with this team or the next team I can build with, and if I'm gonna say that, then the Philly is a hell of a team to do that with. Definitely with the pieces you have, and where you could take the team from here in the East that's reemerging, but you can see gritty teams like the Heat that can win. You also have a reemerging ball. And Boston has been a perennial power, but they just haven't really gotten to where we think they should get yet. Also, you have Brooklyn that'll come out next year at some point in the year, on all cylinders once everybody gets healthy there. But still not the same as the Wild Wild West. So maybe if I'm in that mindset, I do take that position. For me, just looking at it, it just looks a little bit tiresome at the moment, and I don't know if I would go to Philly and just say, "Hey, let's do this right now." After they kind of just came off the same kind of feeling, so it just it's too much of the same a little bit as far as that. But maybe you take the mindset of, "Hey, throw it all out. This is a new day. Let's figure something out." And in that mindset, looking at it half full, yes, I go to a team. Definitely, if it's a team like Philly. If you look at it half empty, let me take a second back, get my thoughts together. Position will come up eventually because I'm Doc Rivers, and I'm sure I'll get a coaching job again. So
Yeah, I would have to agree with you as well too. So it's a little odd that a lot of the coaches that happen to get fired this year were all African American, man. Nate McMillan, David Fitzdale, we got Doc Rivers, and obviously we had
well,
what's
the
on
Knicks
his
was a given.
yeah, Knicks was a given. But it's like, why would you sign him for all those years knowing that you guys don't have any superstar caliber players? You're literally building from the draft and you're gonna plan to sign free agents, and you basically treat him like a lab rat. You know what I'm saying? And
Bad business.
now it's nothing. That just sucks.
It's
So yeah,
bad
Doc
business.
Rivers. Oh yeah, so Doc Rivers, Fitzdale, McMillan, and then also the New Orleans Pelicans coach as well too. And it's
Ginger.
crazy because like Doc Rivers was one of the most prominent uh as far as like verbal figures for the Black Lives Matter movement with everything
Yeah.
going on in the bubble as well too. He's one of the coaches that actually was able to speak up as well too. So it's just crazy how things unfolded. But at the end of the day, like I said, he had 20 years, winning record, multiple finals appearances, a couple of conference finals appearances. But at the end of the day, we're on that era of what have you done for me lately? And he wasn't able
At
to
all
get it
times.
done. But at the same time, like I said, if he gets another opportunity, there's no doubt in my mind that he's gonna excel in whatever he does as well too. So shout out to
All
Doc.
facts.
I didn't want you to leave soon, but at the end of the day, maybe there needs to be a new voice in the locker room. And I'm sure that Steve Ballmer met with Paul George and met with Kawhi
Cool.
Leonard. They probably gave his input, but at the end of the day, I just feel like Steve Ballmer was like, "Yo, enough is enough. Let's move in a new direction." So there's been
Yeah.
rumors that we're either gonna see Ty Lue, who's the assistant, get the job, or we're gonna see I think his name is Jeff Van Gundy, one of the analysts that's alongside Mark Jackson. If you had to choose
Interesting.
between the two, who would you choose?
Uh, Gotta go with Ty. Uh, Jeff Van Gundy seems super knowledgeable, but we've seen Ty Lue do very good stuff with teams. Only question mark would be, I mean, granted, it was a depleted team, but that year post LeBron and everything. But we've seen that multiple times with multiple coaches, where I mean, it's not the same after LeBron leaves. So, um, you know, who knows? Or even when LeBron gets there, so who knows? Could it be more of a LeBron effect? But he was in the mix for those Cleveland championship runs. So I would say Ty Lue. It would be very interesting to see Jeff Van Gundy get the job. I think it will probably come down like to management. He has been an analyst. He probably knows basketball very well. His his brother coach in the league, but maybe he puts the right people around him, and he just gets it done. Kind of coming from that Steve Kerr kind of realm in a way. So we've seen success in that route as before. I think the more plausible thing would be Ty Lue, but I would understand them shaking it up. It's the LA Clippers. You're trying to separate yourself from the pack. Um, Eventually, you're gonna have a new home. I think it's not LA, correct? And they're moving. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
um, so maybe this is the start of that era. So we'll see.
And it's kind of crazy because like I don't want to take anything away from Ty Lue. At the end of the day, he had to mark out the X's and O's. Obviously, you're at a huge advantage if you do have LeBron, but sometimes it's kind of hard to separate LeBron from success and coaching as well too. So
Mhm.
I think he's been around those group of players for such a long time that he's going to demand nothing but excellence from them. So I think he would be that good route. But I would be interested to see another analyst who actually watches the game from the outside and kind of be another voice in the locker room as well too. So I wouldn't be mad
Facts.
either way because I mean you do have Kawhi and PG at least for one more year. So it's going to be interesting to see what moves they're going to make, who's going to be the coach, what they decide to just do moving forward as well too. So we
Facts.
should continue to monitor that and see what's going to come about that. But I would probably have to agree with you and go with Ty Lue just because he's the most recent coach who has a success and he's a players coach as well too. I'm not sure if Van Gundy played in the NBA, so I would go with Ty Lue.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't
But
think so. But last topic of the day. This is so
yes,
weird
sir.
saying this so early. Last topic of the
Yeah,
day.
yeah. Last topic.
The NBA finals are
Yes,
about to
sir.
take place tomorrow, aka Wednesday, October the
Yes, sir.
30th, which is my boy Wade's birthday. Happy
Hey,
early
shout out
birthday,
Wiz.
my guy. Shout out Wade Wheat. Love you, bro. I'm gonna call you a little later on today, so we're gonna definitely chat up for a little bit. But tomorrow at 6 o'clock Pacific time, 5 o'clock Eastern time,
Oh,
we're
thank you.
gonna have the dominant duo of the Los Angeles Lakers. I'm talking Anthony Davis. I'm talking LeBron James led team going up against no other than Jimmy Butler, Pat Riley, Coach Spo, that supporting cast, dog among dogs, underdogs going at it. So it's pretty exciting to see everything unfold because on the East, you have a team that we did not think would get there. I mean, we had our dark horses, we had our selections, but we didn't really think they would get that far. Granted, because we had the star power in the Celtics. You know what I'm saying? We also had the trust the process of the 76ers. We also had Giannis Antetokounmpo, who's coming off of
Facts.
a duo back-to-back MVP award and also a Defensive Player of the Year award as well too. So they kind of went under the radar, but if you looked at the body language, you looked at the consistency, you looked at all the interviews we saw from Jimmy Butler on down, they just always
Yeah.
had confidence. They just always had confidence that they can get it done. And on the West, obviously, I think this is going to be LeBron's 10th fucking finals appearance. And you
Ridiculous.
have a
Epic.
hybrid who's like a KG mixed with Tim Duncan and Anthony Davis. It's going to be very, very interesting to see what we got here. So first game sets off tomorrow, and I think it's going to be a hell of a series. Now, how many games are going to go? I don't really know. It
Mhm.
kind of really just depends. It can either go 6 or 7, or it can kind of be like that Nuggets Lakers series where it's very competitive every single game, but
Yeah.
the better
It
team
could be
just closes
lopsided.
out as well too. So it could be
Mhm.
lopsided as well. Um, I mean, if you look at the coaching standpoint, side by side. I mean, Frank Vogel's first finals appearance, Eric Spoelstra's been to 4 finals.
Mhm.
You look at the depth, you can give the Heat the advantage. They seem like they're the most consistent with their depth when those five are out. The other five step in, they're most consistent compared to the Lakers.
Facts.
You look at management, GM, Pat Riley, or Rob Pelinka. You're gonna go with Pat Riley, but there's just a huge ass outlier, and you already know is that star power.
LeBron
So
James.
it's going to be interesting
LeBron
to see
James.
because when you think about it, I mean, LeBron's been dominant the whole series, and there's also been other players who have been pretty dominant as well too. But I would probably have to say uh, keys to the Heat success. Can you actually continue to play zone? Can you
Yep.
get Jimmy Butler to actually play at an even higher level? Because now in the playoffs, he's only been averaging 20 points. And what are they going to do with Bam Adebayo? Because I feel like with Bam Adebayo, he's kind of like in that Jokic stratosphere in the sense of things are going to get run through him, right?
Yep.
Now, there's multiple bodies that go towards him. So, you got AD, you got Dwight Howard, you got LeBron James, and you got JaVale McGee. Is he gonna not stay? Is he gonna stay out of foul trouble? You know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
and 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 how's that gonna last? I guess one of the benefits of being the Miami Heat is they kind of do it by committee. So there's really
It's a
no
fact.
person to really key on. So anybody can get their bucket any given day. So I'm excited about that. But it's going to be interesting as well too, because you already know the formula to beat zone. I feel like Anthony Davis is that guy who lives and
Yeah,
dies by the mid range. To be honest with you, he kind of plays a little outside in a little bit as well too. So I think he's gonna eat inside there, and I think he's gonna definitely kill you on the boards as well too. So, what are your thoughts on everything? What do you think the keys are for the Heat, and then and then flipping it over to the Lakers? What do you think the keys are for the Lakers to be successful?
I think the keys for the Lakers are it's probably going to be um, some shooting some shots and down the stretch in that kind of scenario. It's going to be perimeter defense off the screen, the high screens for the shooters, and that kind of communication for the shooters. Which you do have two forwards that can go out and guard shooters, and one of the hotter shooters being Tyler Hero, who is a little bit novice but has been playing like a seasoned vet as far as the numbers he's putting up. So I think if they can rattle him, that'll be a good blow to the offensive weapons of the Heat. Um, I think the defense is already there for the Lakers, definitely inside. Um, just a hybrid style of play for the Heat, though, is going to come back and be one of their one of their weapons, definitely from a on the fly kind of standpoint, with the adjustments and everything that goes on, and with the defensive adjustments. But I feel like they're going to be on their heels a little bit more than they want to be with that inside presence and the fact that LeBron James can do that Magic Johnson, be the four, be the five on the court, and play the point guard role. So it's going to be a hell of a series of coaching from Spoelstra. We already know he's gotten his praise as being one of the best coaches in the league, definitely the past few weeks. But here comes like one of the biggest challenges being LeBron, somebody that has the highest IQ we've probably ever seen in the game, playing at a position where he can affect the game at all times. Uh, Jimmy's the X factor at all times. You know, again, the saying that he doesn't do anything particularly well, but do wins games. They win games. They win games. We saw Bam. Bam had a bad game against the Celtics a few ago, and maybe it'll be a Bam AD kind of matchup or a Bam LeBron. I don't know, but not saying a Bam gonna cancel LeBron or AD out in a way, but I think it'll be a pretty good matchup because he is a damn good defender, as well as if one of them can lock down Bam, it's going to be another blow to the Heat. So the Heat really just have to keep up. They have to keep up. They have to, be on the fly, and they got to keep playing like they don't give. Really, they got to keep playing like they don't give, and they deserve to be there just as much as anybody else wants to be there. I feel like that even the confinement of the bubble has helped them keep the distractions away, and kudos to them for keeping all the distractions away all season long. Putting themselves in a place as that. So that's my take on it. That's my kind of side by sides. Jimmy, Tyler Hero, Bam on one side, as well as those other players, Dragic, and everybody down the line. We saw Iggy, getting this stuff off in the last game against the Celtics. So interestingly enough, they do it by committee. And the Lakers, well-oiled machine, gonna kill you inside. Once they get going, it's hard to beat them. But the perimeter defense, not coming from their two all-stars, is gonna be kind of tough. So we're gonna see what happens.
Yeah, and what I've noticed is even throughout the entirety of the season is the Lakers kind of struggled defending guards
Mm-hmm.
because they had to basically pick up Dame full court. They basically double Harden the whole time to put the ball off his hands as well too. So now it's like you can't really afford to do that because the Heat kind of have bona fide snipers. They have
Yeah.
specialists now. So it's going to be interesting to see how they start to guard everyone. I'm interested to see who's gonna try to neutralize Goran Dragic, whether it be like them by committee, and then obviously if it's the fourth quarter, they keen on him. But it's looking like Tyler Hero is going to be also on the floor as well too. So is Tyler Hero going to be able to sustain this level of excellence? I mean, I know he's a rookie, but we're kind of putting a lot of expectations on him. I think he has what it takes. I think he has that dog mentality. He has the ultimate leader behind him, team behind him to get the job done as well too. So it's going to be very interesting to see if they can slow down that backcourt of Dragic and also Tyler Hero as well too. And then with the
And the
bodies
last
that,
thoughts.
oh yeah, go ahead.
Sorry to cut you off, bro.
Yeah, go ahead.
But maybe this Heat team might be at a disadvantage, or maybe we'll find out. The Lakers have always, the last series at least, they've played shooters that kind of know how to kind of at least penetrate, get to the rim a little bit. We're gonna see if Tyler Hero and Dragic can get to the rim with those skyscrapers that are the Lakers. So if they're gonna take it in and be weak about it, or they're gonna, just send them in and say, hey, if you guys send them in, we'll take the 2 points, or we'll take, the contested layup and see what happens. That's gonna be big if they can penetrate, and even those guys finding playmaking potential in other guys. Because if a shooter drives, how many more shooters do you have on the floor at certain times? So sorry to cut you off.
No, no, no. I was thinking about that too because, like, looking back at it, Boston played small. Like, they had
Hmm.
Tice as their big
Hmm.
Cantor. They had to
Hmm.
use zone just to, disguise Cantor's defense. So it's going to be interesting, like you said, when you get by your defender and you're basically at the rack. Who, I mean, are you going to be confident or are you going to give up those shots?
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with that as well too. Do you continue to start Dwight just to add that physicality towards the Bam Adebayo? Because Jokic is tough, don't get me wrong, but Bam a real nigga, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, are you gonna go with JaVale McGee, or are you gonna go with Dwight Howard, or are you gonna kind of take that blueprint what you have with Houston, where you have AD kind of start at the five,
Mhm.
and kind of make it small ball? Or I guess it really kind of just depends on how successful Miami is in the first early games.
Um, I might start Dwight. I wouldn't be opposed to even JaVale McGee getting some rip, but uh, and Jokic was a damn more skilled. I mean, you have to say it. He's a more skilled big man than Bam, because of the size and because just him being at the level he's at. I would no take away from Bam, but just him being at the level he's at. So I I would have a little bit more faith in JaVale because JaVale was getting burnt by Jokic. Um, and I would put that lineup on the floor solely because, let's see how they deal with height, but on the flip side of it, if I was going to be safe, I would put Dwight out there because Dwight's a smarter defender, less foul trouble. I can kind of leave him out there a little bit longer with, if per se, a more perimeter minded, a more sniper minded team, and in the Miami's lineup that they could put out there. So I would go like that. I mean, then like your money lineup, it if you can benefit off it. I wouldn't show it super early if I didn't know that we're not going to get all our money's worth of it with 80 at the five, because that could just be an adjustment where it's like, all right, cool, let's get our points, let's get our points, let's get our points. You could come out with it firing, see how it goes. Um, it's X's and O's, man. They all have these lineups. I can't say what lineup is better right now, only because I have to see what the other teams are gonna put out. But I think um, some surefire ones will be 80 out there at the five, or even the White at the five because he's such a good defender.
Yeah, and AD just he can do it all, so you can always put him at the
Yeah,
four as well too.
yeah.
I mean, there's multiple you can argue that there's multiple bodies for LeBron. So you have Jay
Mm-hmm.
Crowder, you have Jimmy Butler, you have Andre Iguodala, who's the Finals MVP, who got the Finals MVP regarding LeBron James, and then you also have what's the guy that was in the dunk contest? What's his name? You know what I'm talking about.
Yes, yes. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry.
Anyways, he's long and lengthy as well too. So you got a couple of good amount of bodies for LeBron as well too. Do you think with the team defense that they play and then the individual wing players that they have, do you think that they can in a way make it tough on Bron, and then you just have AD go off, or vice versa?
Um, if they go into a man kind of thing, they had a lot of success with the zone. But when you say you're going zone, um, probably because the communication might be better than that. But it also tells me that your team might play zone a little bit better. You're not going to beat LeBron with a zone. He's always going to make the right pass. He's always going to make the right pass. So when you do pull it out there, LeBron again has the IQ to dump it off to people that are going to be open as long as they're doing the right thing. So as many bodies as they have to throw at him, I'm not sure if that's the deciding factor in it all. It's good that they do have the bodies, but uh, with his ability just to make the right play, with AD playing and tandem beside him, even with their depleted lineup, they do have some shooters around them that can get the job done. And, playoff Rondo, who played very well in this last series, can make the decisions and get them the ball where they need to get the ball to. So, um, as many defenders as you have, it's never really been that first guy that LeBron's worried about. Is that second? It's the help defense. And when you have help that's coming off of Dwight Howard's playing out of his mind, AD that's playing ridiculous because he's AD, and then maybe a shooter that is butt naked wide open, because you have to cover the other three guys. It's a tough get for anybody to stand in front of the best player in the league right now.
Yeah. Yeah, that's going to be interesting to watch too. If you're Coach Spo, do you start off playing zone like how you did the previous other season? I mean, series, or do you kind of switch it up a little bit?
I'll start off playing zone. I mean, they're gonna kill us on the inside. Uh, I'd rather see them kill us with the shooting. And I don't think the shooting is gonna be consistent enough to kill us the whole game because we have shooting as well.
Exactly. Exactly. The Lakers had glimpses of what they can be, but for the most part, what holds truth, what holds constant is their inability to consistently knock down jump shots. So
Hmm.
it is going to be interesting because my boy Danny Green, for some reason, always plays well in the finals. So I wouldn't be surprised if he has a good stretch, but we are in the bubble now. So it's going to be
Yeah.
interesting to see. Do you see Danny Green having a consistent series? Because we know he's going to bring on the defensive end. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But is he going to be able to knock down shots, or is he going to be that liability when they actually play zone and kind of, keep him open in the corner?
Mm. I mean, shooters are gonna shoot. So one series where he could be off, this could be a series that he hits on. So I think he'll hit a couple shots this series that will be like, okay, Danny's a little bit back at least. He can help us out.
Yeah. So, um, if the Heat were to win the championship, um, who wins Finals MVP for you?
If the Heat win the championship, uh, Jimmy Butler, just off of sheer what he brings to the team, he makes his teammates better. A lot of that what happened couldn't really happen without Jimmy Butler being there. So I mean, as long as he has solid numbers, I'd have to give it to Jimmy Butler, unless a Bam comes out and just does double doubles every night, or Tyler Hero shoots the ball and scores 25 to 20 points each game somehow, some way. But I think it's gonna be Jimmy Butler.
Yeah. I at first thought Jimmy Butler, but from what Bam's been doing, I think in order for Miami Heat to win, because you kind of
That'd be like double
you
doubles.
kind of know what you get out of everyone. I think Bam has to just raise his game to another level because he not only has to be that guy that kind of has that Jokic ability where he facilitates for everyone. He also has to guard Anthony Davis, and he also has to put up points as well too,
Big facts.
and win the rebounding game. So I think it would be Bam if they happen to win, and they're going to lean on him hard. But I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it is Jimmy Butler. He's been waiting for this moment as well too. Now, what does this mean? You think for the Heat if they win a championship? Do you think this is something they definitely build on? Do you think they try to still get better and acquire new talent, or you think they're right on pace to do what they've been doing?
I think they can always get better and acquire new talent. When we make the argument of we can sit right here, we can let's keep the band together. That's when you feel like it's only there for a flash of time, and you can't recreate that. But we've seen time and time again with Coach Spoelstra and that organization, Pat Riley, going on down the line, that they can recreate, you know, the grit, the grind, and the success with different personnel. So I think you go out, search for personnel that could make you better and keep it going. No disrespect to this team because this is a great team, but if you can put pieces in there that will clearly and notably make you better, and you just coach through the adjustments, you have to do that as the Heat, yeah, because they're one of the best examples of that. Them, Spurs, teams that kind of just do it the right way per se. Teams that we like to do it through coaching and the draft and such and such. So uh, yeah, and the developmental teams. So I think you can, if you have the chance, go get you a big brand name player again, or go get you some pieces that are gonna be like, yo, this is a tough team to beat again, and keep it going.
Okay, cool. So my next question for you, moving over to the West Coast, knowing that the Heat are at a disadvantage with size, who do you, if the Lakers win the finals, the championship, who do you have winning Finals MVP?
AD, but I could see it going to LeBron James after the comments, after the storylines, after him being pissed off, and he's probably going to play like a madman per usual. But I could see AD getting the MVP because of what he does in the series. But LeBron bringing the X factors and also going to be putting up his numbers is going to be a hard case. It's going to be a really hard case.
Yeah, I got LeBron too. He's been waiting for this moment. I think this is probably going to be, besides the 3-1 series, and then the year that Kyrie got traded and he carried the Cavs to the championship again, and won in multiple round sevens, put up that monstrous game one. I think he just wants it. So, if you had to choose between the two, who do you have winning and how many games?
Uh, I got the Heat. No, I'm sorry. I'm tripping. I
You
got the
should have
Heat
saw
winning
my
two
reaction with
games.
my
I know,
eyes. I
I
just
know. I'm
lit up.
sorry. I'm looking up. I got the Heat winning two games and the Lakers taking it the rest of the way. So that's what, 6 games, right?
So Lakers in six.
Yep, yep, yep.
I want
All
to
right,
say
Courtney.
six. I really, really want to say six, but I'm gonna have to go with the Lakers in five. I
Mm,
mean, they they played one of the best offenses in Portland. They played two superstars with Houston, and then they went up against the young and up and coming Nuggets. So I think all that's
facts,
going to
facts,
help them get
facts.
there. And like I said, with LeBron James, he's just
Oh,
been
nice.
through so much. So I got the Lakers winning in five, and then that's that. The last thing I want to ask you, there's only one person that we can compare LeBron to always is going to be Michael Jordan. So last
Mm-hmm.
question for you before we end this. If LeBron wins the finals MVP, knowing his whole reservoir, do you think he kind of closes that gap between MJ?
Um, I think the gap is so wide between MJ. Um, One, because we never seen them play side by side, of course, and then two, uh, because of the fandom that MJ does have, and because we're not comparing a player that has played in the past to a player that has played in the past. So it's always been the nostalgia, who MJ is. He is Superman to the league in a way. So I think that gap's a lot closer than we think it is. If not totally different than what the narrative preaches that it is, with LeBron being maybe a better player than MJ. That's not the argument for right now. But with this series, of course it does. Of course it does. Of course it does. It has to. Um, but I think we see it in real time. Um, I'm not sure if, everybody wants their flowers while they're here. No way. Definitely, I'll say that in relation to playing, metaphorically to playing. Everybody wants their flowers while they're here. But with everything that we see from LeBron, with all the storylines, with how the media is, I'm not sure we're going to really see that. So as real basketball heads, we have to just give it up where we can give it up. I'm not sure if anybody's really holding LeBron in MJ's league. You know, not saying that anybody's really holding MJ in this league with his competitiveness, with the things he can do with the basketball, but I think if you put MJ and LeBron in this league, uh, from the time LeBron came in, I think LeBron still might be able to edge him out in a lot of categories and a lot of play and stuff like that. And that's not said lightly. That's not said lightly. That could be a whole different episode. So that's just my opinion on that.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you as well. And like, as I've just gotten older and just been seeing all this stuff, it's just like,
Mm-hmm.
who are we to compare? One generation to another. I think we just at the end of the day have to. We're always going to have our favorite players that we lean towards, but we just have to appreciate different eras and
Yeah.
different stars and different eras as well too. So
Heck yeah.
that's always going to be a topic of debate, regardless. But at the end of the day, if you like LeBron more, you like LeBron more. If you like MJ more, you like MJ more. If you old head, you like
Apples,
Bill Russell
oranges,
more, you like
over,
apples
under.
and oranges, bro. So there's
Yeah.
really no way to have a scale unless we die and go to heaven. We ask God, he like, it's LeBron James or whatever. But other than that, I'm just gonna enjoy the moment because we don't know how long he's going to be this great for. So I'm
Heck
just
yeah,
enjoying the ride as
35,
well
bro.
too.
What?
Any last words you want to say for the pod?
Man, nah, enjoy the series, y'all. Hope y'all enjoyed this quick episode. Vote, 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 vote. Register to vote. I think you might have a week or so left, or a couple of days left, however that goes. But do it urgently. Stick together. Um, guard yourself, guard your mental health, as well as you continue to look out and guard others, man. That's what it is. You already know episode. This is the Seezus Show. This is the Seezus Show. Check us out,
Yes,
man.
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, that was episode 93 of the Caesar Show.
93.
I was with my boy Trader XXIV. Obviously, it's your boy Sir Caesars. Follow the Caesar Show on all major platforms. TheSeezusShow. Available on all major platforms. Hope you enjoyed this one. We out.
Peace.